Hello friends, I am Dr. Deepak Garg. I am Director and Head Orthopedic Surgery at Ahan Healthcare, Rohini, New Delhi. And today we will talk about giant cell tumor of bone. Giant cell tumor of bone are relatively rare tumor. They are benign but they are locally aggressive and they are osteolytic tumors. They usually occur after the skeletal maturity. The usual age group is 20 to 40 years and the most common locations are around the knee, distal femur or proximal tibia. And if the patient will present to us in the OPD, he will have the symptoms like pain, swelling, difficulty in walking. Sometimes patient can have pathological fracture also. So let's talk about the histiogenesis. The cell of origin is unknown, but there are two predominant cells that are found in GCT. One is a stromal cell and another is a giant cells. They are multinucleated giant cells. So let's talk about the stromal cells. They are the neoplastic stromal cells and they have receptor activator of nuclear factor kappa beta. That means that they express the rank ligand and sometimes they express sclerostin also. If they express sclerostin, that indicate the aggressiveness of the tumor. Then let's talk about the multinucleated giant cells. They are the hallmark of the GCT of the bone and they have the behavior like osteoclasts. That means they reabsorb the bone and it is found that they also help in angioneogenesis. That means the tumor growth. So let's talk about the pathophysiology of giant cell tumor of the bone. So by now we already know that the rank ligand is expressed by the stromal cells and that help in the recruitment of the osteoclast and the conversion of the multinucleated giant cells or their behavior of the multinucleated giant cell into the osteoclast like cells, and that increases the bone resorptions very fast, and that's why it is very locally aggressive tumor and that leads to the osteolysis, cortical thinning and even pathological fracture sometimes. And the osteoblast in between try to form some bone, so we may have some bone formation inside the cavity sometimes. And because this is because of the osteoclast like activity which is resolving or which is leading to the bone resorption from inside to outside, and it is not irritating the periosteum in the beginning of the tumor. So usually periosteal reaction is not seen in giant cell tumor of bone. So let's look at the imaging. If the patient is coming to us with these symptoms, the first investigation that we will do is X-ray, and the X-ray will show us a mature skeleton with osteolytic lesion in the metaphyseal or metadiaphyseal area with a well-defined margins, with geographical distribution, with narrow zone of transition, some with cortical thinning, sometimes with pathological fracture. So it will indicate the features of a locally aggressive tumor. So this was about the X-ray. Then we will get the MRI with contrast, and MRI will show us a expansile hypervascular mass with cystic changes. And if we look at the T1 and the T2, T1 will be will show low to intermediate intensity because of the presence of hemosiderin, and T2 will also be intermediate to high signal because of the presence of hemosiderin. So very high signal will not be seen in GCT because of the presence of hemosiderin pigment. So let's look at the classification. That practically we use a classification, Campanacci classification. So it has 3 grades: grade 1, grade 2, grade 3. Grade 1 is a intraosseous lesion with well-defined borders and intact cortex, and grade 2 is a lesion more extensive, intraosseous lesion having a thin cortex without loss of cortical continuity, means the cortex is involved and thinned out in grade 2. The grade 2 is further divided into grade 2A, grade 2B. Grade 2A is without pathological fracture, grade 2B is with pathological fracture. Now grade 3 is a extraosseous lesion that breaks through the cortex and extend into the soft tissue. So let's talk. Very few of the GCTs will go from the primary site or metastasize to the other sites. So let's look at the metastasis. So if we talk about the pulmonary metastasis, approximately 2 to 3% of the cases of extremity giant cell tumors metastasis develop. And the interesting fact is the most frequently to the lungs and mostly with benign histological characteristics. So if we take a biopsy from the lung metastasis and if we test it, we find that it is not a malignant lesion, it is a benign lesion. That is a very interesting fact about giant cell tumor. Even though it is going to the lungs from the primary site, still the features are of a benign tumor. They are not showing a malignant cells in the pulmonary metastatic lesion. So if we talk about the malignant transformation of a primary GCT, so malignant transformation is very rare and incidence is not reported in the literature, and typically they have a feature consistent with osteosarcoma. So for the diagnosis, biopsy is a must. We cannot diagnose it without a biopsy. And immunohistochemistry, the H3F3A gene is positive in 95 to 100% of the patients. So let's look at the differential diagnosis. So all the differentials of giant cell rich lesions or osteoclast rich lesions are the differentials for GCT. For example, aneurysmal bone cyst, non-ossifying fibroma, fibrous metaphyseal defects, giant cell rich osteosarcoma, chondroblastoma, brown tumor associated with hyperparathyroidism and metastatic cancers. So if we, now by the time we have already know that there is a lesion in the bone, maybe distal femur or proximal tibia, we know that this is a giant cell tumor, we know the Campanacchi stage of the tumor. So now we need to talk about the treatment of the lesion. So we already know that the surgery is the treatment of choice and surgery is a must for a proper treatment. So there are three options for the surgical treatment. It can be intralesional curettage, it can be extended curettage, or it can be resection. So en bloc resection is the resection that we usually do. Intralesional curettage, there are higher chances of local recurrence with intralesional curettage. So we usually go for extended curettage in Campanacchi grade 1 or grade 2. Extended curettage is the most preferred surgery. Extended curettage means curettage with additional procedure, and high speed burr is a must. Along with the high speed burr, we use in the cavity we can use H2O2 or we can use a phenol argon laser or usual bipolar cautery we can use on the cavity walls, or and we will put the bone cement. Bone cement is also a part of extended curettage. So extended curettage is a most preferred surgery in GCT. So now resection, en bloc resection we do for Campanacchi grade 3. It can be done for very large tumors and patients with pathological fractures or specific locations like proximal fibula and distal ulna, where we prefer resection than curettage. So this was broadly about the giant cell tumor of the bone. So we did not talk about the role of neoadjuvant denosumab, adjuvant denosumab, and the tumors in the pelvis and the sacrum. So we will have another video for discussion about all these lesions. So for more such video, please like, share and subscribe to our channel. Thank you guys. Thank you very much.